Okay, just a quick follow-up to show what I've changed since I posted my first video asking about loose pins, and to show what the results are. And why not start with the results? Ta-da! Here is a, you can see that gravity is not pulling the blade out at all. That's a nice tight pin. And if you see, no matter what position I set it in, or how I do it, it stays nice and tight in every position on the scale. Sometimes after just a little bit of exercise, you'll get a little bit of drop, real slow. But if it just sits closed for a few minutes, it stays tight really nicely. And it's nice and well-centered going into the scales, whether I hold it, even when I hold it horizontally like this, there's no looseness that's going to make this blade fall and chip itself against it. And you can see the other one. That one was my Wester Brothers Fraternity, and this is my Dovo Best Quality. They're both 5/8, and again, gravity doing nothing or almost nothing to pull that out, and in any position holds itself just fine. There we go. So let's look at what I did. First, I'm on a breadboard now. The breadboard is just to protect the table. If I were on a work table, I wouldn't need anything at all. But I'm working on my dining room table. And here, for an anvil, I'm now using a hammer. You gotta be careful where you go on the hammer so you don't get any jump. But right here, on the business part of the hammer, there's a nice working surface there. And the roundness of it helps, because then it's real easy to make sure you're setting the pin on the metal without the scales resting on any part of the hammer either. And lastly, ball peen hammer, 4-ounce ball peen hammer, costs $8 from Ace Hardware. Came in a couple of days. And let's look at what the action is that I'm using on this. Get the pin settled nicely there. Now before, you'll remember I was kind of going straight up and down. I had a straight up and down motion on the pin, which was getting some results, but was really risking bending the pin and not doing what I needed it to do. So here with the ball peen hammer, I think of it as nibbling around the edges. Almost as if I'm aiming for the washer that's around the pin instead of the pin itself. Flip over to the other side. And that's pretty much what it's like. Again, the idea is sort of nibbling around the edges of the pin, almost at the washer, rather than straight up and down on the pin, and I'm able to go much, much lighter. Nice light action. Takes a little longer. Just do about 20 or 24 taps, turn it over, 20 or 24 taps, turn it over, 20 or 24, turn it over, 20 or 24. But that keeps the pressure even on both sides, so that things stay centered, so that the blade stays centered between the scales, and also doesn't risk bending the pin. So it was worth the time. It just took a little while, but after a while you could start seeing it tighten up a little, tighten up a little, tighten up a little, until I had it where I wanted. So that's the difference. You can look at the first video and look at this one. A lot of difference in the tools and in the routine, and with much better results with the help of our friends at straightrazorplace.com and their feedback. So thanks guys very much, and I hope this helps someone else who looks at the thread.